Tucson Train by Bruce Springsteen is going to be played in standard tuning and is played out of G-shaped chords. Bruce starts off the song with just muted strumming across the strings, where you just lay your left hand across the strings to deaden them, and then he's going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and just down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up on the strings before he begins into a G chord. Now, I will say that the main riff that you hear throughout this song is being driven by things like violins and brass instruments of an orchestra. I've created a bit of a hybrid arrangement that you can play if you want to drive that riff through, and I'll show you how to play that a little bit later. But first, let me just show you the chords, and this is what Bruce is playing. So a G chord, put your ring finger on the 6th string 3rd fret, pinky finger on the 1st string 3rd fret, and second finger he's putting on the 5th string 2nd fret. Everything in the middle rings open. So you're doing the same strumming pattern of down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, now over this G chord. And it holds on this G chord until it shifts to a C chord. The C chord, you will just move your ring and second fingers in the same shape, just down one set of strings. So your ring finger is now on the 5th string 3rd fret, your second finger is on the 4th string 2nd fret. You've now got an open 3 string, and your first finger is going to move to the 2nd string 1st fret. You want to avoid the low open 6th string, strum from the 5th string down, same chunk rhythm of strum, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And then it goes from that C back into the G. And you can hear the alternation taking place there between the C and the G, how that alternates. And you can listen to the recording to really get that right, but it goes back and forth a few times between the C and the G before eventually coming up to a D. For the D chord, you'll have an open 4 string. You'll have your first finger on the 3 string 2nd fret. You'll have your ring finger on the 2 string 3rd fret. And you can either avoid the high 1st string altogether, which is, I think, what Bruce Springsteen's probably doing here, just strumming from the 4 string down to the 2 string. Or you can take your second finger and put it on the 1st string 2nd fret and have a full-fledged D chord there. And then it goes back into the G chord. And then we'll alternate again between the G's and the E minors. Whenever you get to the bridge of the song, before you go to the bridge of the song, there's actually an E minor chord that takes the place of a C chord. And that only happens once in the song. It's right before this next big chord change that I'm about to talk about, which is the C to the G, back to the C, to the G, to the C, back to the G, and then it holds on the G, and it holds on the G for a few more measures before eventually coming up to the D, holds on the D, and then he says, my baby's coming on the Tucson Train, and on train you go back to the G, and the riff of starts over again. So that E minor is coming basically after the second time that the strings and that riff takes place. In the last round, instead of repeating back to the C, it goes to an E minor, and you can listen to the record to hear when that happens before it then goes into the bridge of C to the G, which I've just explained. All right, let me explain how you can get this riff. It's a little bit more difficult and tricky with the picking pattern to get it right, but I'm starting with my second finger on the 6th string 3rd fret, and then my first finger will go on the 3rd string 2nd fret. So I'm strumming down on that, and then I'm going to strum up. And while I strum up, I'm simultaneously putting my pinky finger down on the 3rd string 4th fret. So I've got down, up. All I've moved there on my left hand is my pinky finger going from nowhere to now down on the 3rd string 4th fret, taking my first finger, which was down on the 3rd string 2nd fret, just out of commission, but I'm going to leave my first finger there because I want it there for the rest of this riff. So you've got down, up. So The next one, on the next down, you will pick up your first finger all together and hit the open 3 string. So you've got, and then you'll put your first finger back down on the 3rd string 2nd fret, and then come back to your pinky finger on the 3rd string 4th fret. So you've got, finish the riff by opening up the 3rd string again. First finger to 3rd string 2nd fret, pinky finger to the 3rd string 4th fret. That is going to come together sounding like this, very slowly. So that's the first part of the riff. And then the second time through that riff, it goes to a C chord, and then you lift your 2nd finger up to expose the open 4th string. And then it goes back to the riff. It's what you're playing, you're just doing it inside of a G chord and a C chord. So those are the chords and movements to Tucson Train by Bruce Springsteen. Hopefully this gives you an idea of how to approach the song.